Oh no.
Missing.
Greg?
Missing.
I thought this was a duet.
Missing.
Oh, so you're just gonna sing all the parts? Those are not the right sounds.
Missing.
Can you hear me?
Missing. Oh, missing.
Bonk.
Welcome to Miss Thing. I'm Greg.
And I'm Tim, and this is a podcast that celebrates and appreciates the missed things of the past, present, and future.
Yeah, in every episode, we take a key moment from our Miss Thing's storied career and do what we are most skilled at, which is make it all about us.
I feel like you're trying to come for me here today on this pod.
I might be.
And I just want you to know that I feel comfortable in my skin.
Sure.
And that's a little teaser, actually, because I believe, I think it's like under the skin or in skin is maybe a reference to someone we're going to talk about as our Miss Thing today.
Oh, God. And I feel comfortable sitting here with the loudest beeping outside.
Oh, so that's always the case.
And you will not hear it at home unless
No.
I don't say anything about it. So I
100%.
just need to say something about it so that
I feel like
you
you're having a
can't
really
hear
good
it.
hair day.
Thank you so much. I was kind of feeling that as well.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Hit me.
What do you know about the millennial pause?
I do know this, and I feel like I do it. I think we all do it. It's right before if you press record on a video or you're like a front-facing video, you just like pause before you begin.
Yeah, it's like you fully like,
Yeah.
hey guys, it's me. Yeah, no, I definitely feel you're very guilty of the millennial pause.
What if you miss the first, what if all of a sudden I'm just like, if I'm saying hey, and it's like, hey, and you don't hear the H.
That is so true, and then your entire video is ruined, and
Yeah.
you recorded obviously for 10 minutes
And the
because
best
you
part
can't
of the
stop
video
talking.
was the...
Exactly. See, I think what the Gen Z fail to recognize and acknowledge about millennials is that we have been through every version of the iPhone,
Yeah.
and it didn't always start right away.
Nope.
And also, we're so media trained, just being millennials. We're
Yeah.
used to like old, multi-camera doing it in front of
Yeah.
a live studio audience. The countdown, the 3, the
applause,
2, the
applause,
1.
applause. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I feel like maybe subconsciously I do the millennial pause, but not in the sense that I think before I speak. I definitely
Yeah.
just talk without thinking ahead of time.
I feel like I don't understand, and I want to learn from Gen Z how to get rid of it. Because to me, it just feels hard to... I guess the good thing that Gen Z does is they're just inherently themselves, whether or not they're pressing record or not. Whereas
Yeah.
for me, I feel like there's just that moment where you're like, okay, and now I am talking to a camera.
Exactly. Yeah. It feels very.
It takes a minute. You have to pause and be like, okay, now I'm literally talking to my phone. That's so embarrassing.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. We have the millennial shame, which Gen Z doesn't have. Millennial pause, millennial shame.
Yeah.
I will say, I don't think I do millennial pause before I speak, but
Yeah.
I am guilty of millennial pause in the middle of my sentences. But I'm not sure if that's being a millennial or if it's just my cognitive decline. Jury's out.
I would say, as a loving friend who has known you for 10 plus years, I don't think it's cognitive decline. I think that pause has been there throughout your life. And I watched, fun fact, The Kardashians on Hulu.
Okay. Speak on that.
And there was this, in the premiere episode, they did a supercut of all the times Kourtney Kardashian said and it was still maybe a tenth of the amount of times I say I felt red for filth.
Yeah.
And now that I've brought it up, this podcast will be the podcast because I will bring it up 10 times more.
That is such a famous thing. Parents being like, why don't you say some more?
Yeah.
And it's it's a fundamental piece of every sentence.
Also, come for my faggot tree here on the pod. Actually, when you are gay, there is something put in your DNA.
Totally.
That actually you have to say I want to say every 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's like ESL, English as a second language, like as our first in so many ways. Oh, and by the way, so many people have been reaching out to us saying that we sound like grandpas, with so many things. Yes. Well, I can't even remember. It was the stickers on the face, which by the way, we're cool with. We're cool with.
Yes.
And what was the other?
We're too old to remember.
Oh God, millennial pause.
It was something.
Well, yeah, we're hearing your messages. Yeah. Oh, the Kia Asylum. Yeah, apparently it's Kaya or Kaya. I still have
Kia
not taken
sounds better. I'm sorry.
Kia sounds better. Kia Sophia. Yeah, exactly. I remember the ads from when I was a kid. Kia Sophia. If you have $99 and a job, you can get your Kia Sophia. I have Kia on the brain. That's... Oh, really? Yeah. Slightly older than you. Yeah, but I just want to say we hear you and we know and we're not changing.
No.
We are, that's sort of our whole thing. We are elder millennials.
We're the golden age gays.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We are the elder millennials, the golden age gays. Keep in mind, we are two people who all of our cultural references stopped at probably around 2008.
I think it's time we get into the first and our most famous segments.
Yeah, we sort of need to always just put that out there and make sure that everyone knows that we know that it is our most famous. First segment, Dodd Mom Sauce, a.k.a. Doll of the Day, Mother of the Moment, Sister of the Second. Our first and, once again, famous segment where we take a person, place, or thing right now that we are currently super obsessed with.
Yes. Well, what is your Dodd Mom Sauce?
Oh, okay. Well,
I did a little I was going to start, and then I was like, no, let's have Greg start.
I know. It's always sort of like a guessing game. Who's going to accuse someone else and make them go first.
The accused here.
Yeah, exactly. I have one that, look, I wasn't really expecting in the year 2025, but Madonna... The other day, I mean, future Miss Thing, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about her a million times on the podcast. Madonna announced that she is making Confessions on the Dance Floor Part 2. Mm-hmm. This is huge.
Yes.
Red alert. Speaking of millennial, I mean, look, listen, Madonna's a legend. Confessions on a Dance Floor was the one that first got me into Madonna. It's the one... Yeah, exactly. So Madonna, I always loved her when I was a kid. I liked her. She was a little before my time, but I always liked the music. I always knew the music. It was more my sister's thing. Confessions on a Dance Floor, to me, is the one where it all clicked. Yeah. That I remember very specifically that time in my life, I was starting to go to the gym. That album is so...
Gym.
It's so gym. It's so iPod with chords.
Oh, yeah. It's like half of your gym experience is just actually untangling the cord.
Totally. I just remember so specifically listening to that album start to finish. It was my first gym album. Yeah. And being on the treadmill and trying to avoid the headphones so I didn't knock the iPad.
It's you have to put your iPad in the cup holder.
Well, but then the iPad wouldn't fit.
That's right,
it also didn't exist.
The iPod. And then you would, the cord would literally be sagging near your knees.
Totally.
And it's actually such a nerve-wracking experience.
Of course, you had to sort of wrap it around your iPod enough, or you had the armband. But anyway.
No, I am out here on the pod saying I love all those people, but please put your armband iPods away.
Okay, elder millennial alert. Yeah, but to me, that's one of those albums that will live on in gay history forever. If you're on Fire Island in the year 3052, Confessions is still going to be playing. Every artist has their one. And I think also if you're, maybe a younger person and you like Madonna and you don't really know where to start, Confessions is a great place to start. It's fun. It's so interesting. It might get you into disco. That was the first time that I listened and was oh, am I maybe into disco? Yeah. And that's, I think, what great pop can do, a great artist can do, is introduce you to sounds that maybe are from the past and bring them to you in a new way, which is what Confessions did for me. And it's incredible, and I can't wait for part 2.
It's kind of like Britney's Blackout, you know, where it's like that is usually, if you're talking to a gay guy, even if they love whatever, it's like it's the one that gets referenced the most, I feel. Not that she doesn't have other great albums, but it is the one that gays tend to love like so much,
right?
And
it's one of those albums. Yeah, it's Britney's Blackout. Like they all the great generational pop queens have one. What do we think Gaga's is? Might be Mayhem.
It might be Mayhem.
I think we might be on the verge of her Confessions.
I think it's probably the one with Tony Bennett.
Oh, anyway,
no, it's Joker of Velour.
It's Harlequin. A Joker companion album. Yeah.
Talk about, by the way, and then we'll get into mine, which is like Gaga released Harlequin and was like, and I love, you know that she is one of my ultimates of ultimates of ultimates, and yet not a single one of us clicked on that album.
Yeah.
And then now she has Mayhem, and we can't get enough of Abracadabra and Returning to Disease, and then the new album, I mean, I'm salivating.
Yeah, well, I think it feels like it's going back to a version of what it was before. Keep that in mind for later.
Ooh.
But when an artist kind of goes back to like a version of themselves, like Dancy or which Madonna's Confessions did, like after they've been going on a bit of an artistic journey,
it's like
I think that feels good for fans.
Yeah, you're rewarding us for our loyalty by being like, and now like I'm going to give you some comfort food, which is like going back to why you fell in love with me originally.
Yeah, and you're introducing new fans to like what makes you so great, like what you're excellent at. Yeah. Anyways, Tim, do you have a Dod Mom sauce? I'm being so Al Roker. Or what am I, Dan Rather?
You are being so what's the weather?
Yeah. Very that.
Very elder millennial to say Al Roker. My Dod Mom sauce is the Amazon delivery man this week.
Oh.
Going right into it, which is...
Need to know, as you know, I live right by an Amazon fulfillment center, so I know them all.
I do believe that you know this man, which is not to like fully dox the like setup of this apartment complex, but it is very hard to get in, and so usually it's like there's all these barriers to entry, and so then if an Amazon person is dropping off a package, like I will usually just be like, oh, you can put it into the front yard or whatever, and all of the people in this complex are great about like picking up and putting it in the foyer.
Good neighbors to have.
Yes.
Unlike the woman who waits outside your door and then we let in and then she just sort of grabs a package and walks away. And of course, we don't say anything. Exactly. I wonder where she is right now.
I do think that actually she might live in this building and I don't know.
Doesn't explain that the waiting to the innie and then the outie. It doesn't all add up to me, but hey.
Weirder things have happened here.
Of course.
You know? But so this Amazon delivery guy called me and I was actually like just stepping out of the shower and he calls me and he was like, hey, I'm outside, I can't get in. Like, are you home? And I did a white lie and I was like, oh, I'm not home because I was just like, I'm not rushing to put on clothes and then go get this package.
Absolutely.
So I was like, you can just leave it in the front and like, I'll be home soon. And he was like, sir, I don't feel good about that. Like, it's one of our rules. I cannot leave the package like out. I can't like toss it over into and I was like, it's a gated thing. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. Do appreciate your concern.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm telling you. And he was just like, it's against the rules. And then I was like, and he was like, I'm going to have to come back tomorrow. And then I was like,
since when is Amazon so honest?
Truly. And I was like, okay. But I was like, honestly, I'm telling you now, I would appreciate it. Like, you have my permission. Like, you can leave the package. And he was like, I can't do that for you. And then
consider this phone call my signature.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, so I was like kind of annoyed. And I was like, it's okay. And then he was like, I can't do that. Hung up. I was kind of annoyed because I was just like, oh my God, just leave the package. I'm telling you.
Not to mention, you're home and could go down
I was in a towel and I didn't want to turn him on too much.
Of course.
And then I got like, you know, the like how they also can like text you or like use the Amazon chat. And like 2 seconds later, I got a thing that said like that he left the package or whatever.
Okay.
And it basically, I can't remember the exact wording, but was like, I was like, thanks for your oral confirmation or whatever. I like dropped the package.
Yeah, being so legalese.
Truly.
Yeah.
And then, and I 20 minutes later, I go down to get the package. Stolen. Baggage stolen.
What if he took it?
20. Okay, that's what I was like kind of thinking for a second, but then I like went back, you know, like I felt like I was on an episode of TV where then I like went back and listened in my mind to our phone call, and he was like, I really don't feel good about this.
Maybe there was someone waiting. Maybe it was our girlfriend.
Yeah, I think our girlfriend was. I was like I'm like looking back on it now, and I'm like, I honestly feel like he was like blinking through the phone, being like, there is someone here.
Yeah, as I brought up before on the podcast, your street itself is quiet, but not steps from his apartment. There is the busiest pedestrian walkway of all time. Yeah. There is never a human outside of this walkway, but I could not emphasize enough. It is like those images of like Japan.
Yeah.
Like the center of Tokyo.
Times Square.
There's so many people walking through that light.
And now I look back and I'm like, this man was telling me that someone was there, and I was getting like so curt and being like, leave the package.
Yeah.
Sir, leave the package.
Totally.
So
he was being the call is coming from outside the house.
Mm-hmm. He acquiesced a word you used on the pod, and we didn't
Last week, that was my word of the day.
Word of the day, and also another name for a child. If you're looking to name your first child something, acquiesce.
Totally. It's like a maiden name, but like a middle name. It's like a maiden name that you give to a child as a middle.
Yeah. And anyways, but then after all this, I like went to Amazon to be like, hey, the package was stolen. They sent me a new package, even though it's like fully my fault.
Yeah, no, of course. No, no one's questioning that.
They sent me a new package. This was last week. I'm not kidding you. Last night, I went downstairs to get something else. The package was there. So I got the same thing twice. One time for free. And so I've gamed the system. Sorry, Amazon.
I'd kind of like to know what it is, but you can tell me.
It's so boring. Do you want to guess?
Boring. Want to guess? Tissues.
No, but not. It's literally dishwasher pods and hand soap. But
well, it was a
50 pack and like a jumbo size of hand soap. So like, you know.
Sure. I think it's time we take a break.
Let's do it.
Welcome back. And it's time for our Miss Thing of the Week.
I am so excited about this one. This woman, and I will eventually get into this in my story, but I have a Christmas diva tree thing that I do where I have all my divas of pop culture on different ornaments.
Undiddled ornaments.
Undiddled ornaments. And she is the star on top because I love this woman so much.
And she's kind of a religious icon in so many ways, too.
She is what makes me believe in religion.
Totally. Yeah. Made me believe in God big time. Oh. And let's just get into it. Our Miss Thing of the Week is Jessica Simpson.
Okay, this queen is one that a lot of people, I feel like they talk about Britney, they talk about Christina, but they forget about Jessica. And it's time to not forget or sleep on this woman because the voice.
The voice, it's a big voice. It's certainly a big voice.
It is. Okay, first off, yes, we can all talk about those enunciations, which is part of one of the reasons why I love her is because no one can move their mouth around a vowel like Jessica Simpson.
Exactly. What I love most about Jessica Simpson is that the way she sings normally is the way I sing as a joke, which is but she does it like not being funny about it. And I love that so much because it's like, that's just pure comedy. She's whoa, she always goes for it.
She's actually so much smarter than you think. And I think continuously, people do not think that she is as smart as she is. And if you read, which I will say this, I am a big celebrity memoir girly. I have read so many of them. This is my favorite celebrity memoir. I am obsessed with it. She has such a good book, because a celebrity, in order for it to be a good celebrity memoir, it needs to have like great life stories.
Yeah,
you also
juicy.
You need to have kind of like surprising things that you didn't know about the person. They need to go there.
Absolutely, and she goes there. And also a little break to sing, and she sings throughout this memoir, and it's a little gift to our ears continuously. She sure does, and it's loud. It is loud.
And also release those songs, Jessica, because those are not on anything other than Audible. So if I want to listen to them, I have to go into your memoir open book.
Yeah, what I love, she sings like a full-throated woman. And a newborn baby all at once.
The other thing, Jessica, that I feel like people don't give her, like, she also, in the same way that like there has been the topic about like Britney was not treated as well as she should have, and they like looked back. We haven't done that fully with her either, in the sense of like she was shamed for her weight, being too skinny, being too fat, like talking about her level of intelligence, and like all of these things that like we just wouldn't do to a woman today. Like, it's like what she was put through in the 2000s is something that was not okay, and she came out on the other end, and now her clothing brand,
it's like multi-billion-dollar.
She is so rich.
Yeah.
So it's like she's laughing all the way to the bank. And also she is a pioneer of reality television.
Exactly. She's like genre bending. Yeah. Her and Nick, and that was like, I mean, that was
and that, I know that this is going to make us sound young, actually, which I love. Is like,
totally.
That was MTV to me, but because like the Newlyweds and the Osbournes,
yeah,
it was like, that was like appointment television.
It was. And I mean, the original like meme queen, I felt like everything she said was regurgitated, like talked about.
And then she would commercialize it instantly. There would be a commercial, right? Like the chicken of this, is this tuna or chicken that I have?
Right.
Immediate partnership.
Well, the thing about Jessica Simpson, Joe Simpson is the original momager in so many ways.
Oh my God.
Kris Jenner was sitting there taking notes on Joe Simpson. That queen knew how to monetize his daughters.
The original queen.
As gay as the day is long. Just some Southern Baptist pastor? Some Southern pastor.
Which also listen to the memoir, because there are some juicy nuggets about the dad.
I know. And what I also love about the memoir is that she is just spilling such hot gossip about the men that she would be with.
She goes there.
Oh my God, she goes there. John Mayer, you're on notice. Okay.
So many, little reference to Leonardo DiCaprio. Did she or didn't she? You're going to have to listen.
You're going to have to listen to find out.
It is such a good memoir, and also like, it just makes you fall in love with her more, because I feel like throughout all of how like terribly she was treated by so many men, the public, other women of that era who were not as kind, she was always so sweet to everyone around her. And it's like something where you just like, she just has the biggest heart, and I'm her biggest fan.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like history will look kindly on her too. And also, I mean, an example of great big sisters.
Right.
Yeah, the big sister.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Her and Ashley, you're talking about the Christmas Diva tree. Yeah. They have my favorite Christmas performance of all time. Them doing their little drummer boy.
It is actually one of the most important pieces of footage that we have on this earth. Put it in the Smithsonian.
Of course. Two women. Singing about a little drummer boy.
Their own take that no one else could do.
Incredibly
Every
sexualized.
Jennifer out there, go Google Parumpa-pum-pum, or whatever.
Jessica Simpson and Ashley Simpson's little drummer boy.
Yes.
You will not believe your eyes or your ears. It's a total feast for the senses.
And also, I mean, just the songs. I will say, I know my sister out there is listening because we would always listen. For whatever reason, Jessica Simpson has become in my life the ultimate, and I suggest this for anyone listening. She is the greatest person to listen to on the way to the airport. I don't know why, but you put on Angels by Jessica Simpson, her belting out that song. You roll down the windows, you hit the highway, you try to mimic her singing.
You're clearing the roads.
There's nothing more euphoric. It's actually the premise of Euphoria.
And lest we forget the acting moment when she got in those Daisy Dukes.
I mean,
People Magazine
all went on
such
that
a field
journey
day.
somehow.
Totally.
We were all a part of that, like 6 months of her getting ready for being Daisy Dukes in Dukes of Hazzard.
Joe Simpson at work.
I honestly feel like we all like got our bodies ready for that movie. Did I see it? I did not see it.
No, of course not. What was that other one? Man of the Year, Employee of the Month. Was every
She should be. Jessica Simpson should be Man of the Year.
Was every movie she was in? Was Johnny Knoxville in every movie she was in?
I think so. I think she also had a thing with
right.
Johnny.
Another.
Yeah. I could talk about it forever, but I won't.
Okay.
Because I want to talk about us.
Yeah, we need to talk about ourselves.
Yes. So, Greg, how do you make Jessica Simpson all about yourself?
There were so many things that sort of popped into mind when Jessica Simpson was chosen as our missing of the week. And by the way, we're doing her because she's...
right.
That Jessica Simpson Assance is upon us.
Yes. Okay.
There's new music being teased on TikTok and all over our feeds.
Yes.
I mean, will the music hit? I don't know. But she's back.
She's back. She is currently going through a divorce, and that is a real bummer. And so, but for us, maybe less of a bummer because it sounds like maybe it's the impetus for her to get back into the studio and write about it. Totally. And she now has a new single, Use My Heart Against Me, which I believe is coming out any day now. If not, I think it actually will be out by the time this airs.
Sure.
So everyone go listen and also go back into the discography and set your ears ablaze.
Totally.
That sounds negative, but I mean it positively.
No. It's everything said about Jessica is with love. Like she is truly like.
That's what I was gonna say. Is I think I said like in this, I'm comfortable in my skin, and I think that her like big album was called like In the Skin or
totally
or Under the Skin, featuring Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, I did go to a Beyonce place with that, so I wasn't sure exactly what you were talking about, but I do remember that now.
Yes. Okay, Greg, get into it.
Oh, sure. Okay. So there were so many things that I wanted to go. Obviously, I was curious about exploring the chicken with the sea. As you know, I have an affinity for tuna fish.
Same. This is a very important question.
We are on so many tangents.
How do you feel? What are your thoughts on the tuna at Subway?
I don't go to Subway very frequently, but I will get the tuna at Subway.
Okay.
That's sort of where I'm going first. How about you?
I agree with you in the sense of I don't go to Subway that often. And I will say it has brought me great millennial shame to say that I would get the tuna at Subway, and I feel shame about it.
Absolutely. No, you should feel ashamed. And it's a disgusting question to ask me on the podcast. But of course, that's actually what I would order at Subway.
I like, you
And
know.
their new like foot-long cookies or whatever that they're doing.
You know that like above all, at any fast food restaurant, it just feels like for some reason that is actually like maybe the worst thing you could order.
No, and yet the only thing I would fathom getting. Yeah, but they're so like preservatives. Like Subway is so like their bread is not fit for human consumption. So like I feel like if anything, they have mastered the art of preserving tuna for months, years at a time.
When the atomic bomb goes off, that will still be there.
Cockroaches share
and
Subway
Subway's
tuna.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay, get back to it. Yeah.
So Jessica Simpson, How I Make Her All About Me. Oh, so I'm thinking that this icon, we know her for the music, but as we're all aware, she's become a very, very successful businesswoman and fashionpreneur. Obviously, I've never seen any of the items, but all I hear is that she's made. She's so cold. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There's a Jessica Simpson top or two in Mary Trimmer's closet. I'll tell you.
And that's why Jessica is a queen, because she knew to get the moms.
Totally.
And their gay sons.
And I admire that. Yeah. I admire that. But you think of the dresses. You think of the blouses. You think of the slacks. You think of the
wedges. I don't know why.
Totally cork bottom shoes.
Literally what I was picturing.
Yeah, exactly. But and it's made her billions allegedly. But what you don't think about is the luggage.
I don't.
Who would?
Yeah.
So a few years ago, I was going on a Euro trip. That and I were going to be gone for like 3 weeks. We were gone for a while, so we were going to need a big new suitcase. I was not able to make it to the store, so I sent that to a discount store, perhaps Marshall's, one of those, to pick up some luggage for our trip. And he was like, it's kind of expensive. There's a few big ones. Oh, but then there's one that's like in the hundreds. It's like less expensive. It's Jessica Simpson. Is that okay? And I was like, sure. He was like, it's actually kind of cute. So he buys that bag. He brings it home.
I can't believe I didn't know this. Okay.
Just you wait. Well, how would you? And you'll find out why. So he brings his Jessica Simpson bag home. The price was right. The bag is cute. It's kind of like hunter green. Yeah.
I imagine it smelled. Remember when she had that, like, the whipped cream, the edible whipped cream that you could eat?
I don't remember that, but I could imagine. I could sense the smell.
I'm picturing that this was also kind of in smell-o-vision, where it smelled.
Yeah, there was something kind of like filmy about it. So it was hunter green, and then there was a gold plate that just said Jessica Simpson.
I'm so jealous.
That they definitely, like, they got this from China or something. Like, sewed that on.
Yeah.
The bag itself, cute, maybe shapeless. Not sure if there were sides to it, but it was giant, which is exactly what I needed. Maybe the layout or something was not up to code, because even though we didn't fill it that much, it was like 20 pounds overweight when we get to the airport. That being said, so we leave Los Angeles and we land in London on the Jessica Simpson suitcase maiden voyage. And when it sort of hits that turnstile, that luggage looks like maybe it was participating in a fight club with the other luggage. But
and did it win or lose?
It was bloody. It was bruised. And you know what? I didn't ask questions because I know the rules. But it was worse for wear. Not the Jessica Simpson quality that I'm used to. But it got us through. So it got us through, we were going to different countries, and it was doing the job. Yeah. So, at the end of our 3 weeks, it's time to head back to Los Angeles. We had checked it in. We were flying from somewhere, I don't remember, to Amsterdam. Okay. And then from Amsterdam, direct back to Los Angeles. Lovely flight, totally fine. Long, but that suitcase was going on a journey along with us underneath, underneath the planes. And when that suitcase hit the conveyor belt, we got through security. We were there. It was already there, sort of going around. And I go to pull it up. Looking, I mean, the body of the thing. It's
on
very,
fire.
very, very damaged. I grab it. I go take it off. And 2 of the wheels have been ripped clean off the suitcase. And not 2 on the same, like, side.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a 4-wheeled. It's like the 2 here. So it's completely unusable.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, it started 20 pounds overweight. On the way back, it was somehow like 50 pounds overweight. So there's no way to use this. But Vat, in his thinking fast, he goes, oh, well, you know what? If your luggage gets damaged on a flight, you can report it and then they'll replace it. So I was like, oh, okay, let's do that. So then I flagged down the nearest person. I'm like, oh, my luggage has been completely damaged en route. What can I do about that? Totally. And he's like, oh, well, normally we have like something that you'd fill out, but like our computers are down, so I have to fill out a form for you.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, okay, that's fine. We just got back. So I'm starting to give him the information. I'm giving him my name. I'm giving him my phone number. And he goes, and what brand is the bag? And at that moment, it all sort of hits me.
Yeah.
You know, I get hot.
Yeah.
I'm a little embarrassed to say. But I turn to him and I say, Jessica Simpson. I say, Jessica Simpson. The bag is Jessica Simpson. And he goes, oh, I didn't know she makes luggage now, too. And I go, neither does she.
If that isn't an analogy for Jessica Simpson itself, you know, like put through the ringer.
Yeah.
Things being clawed and ripped off.
Totally.
You know? And then you have to stand there in front of a man and say,
defend her.
Who are you? What is this? You know?
Totally.
And you have to proudly say, Jessica Simpson. To which a man just goes, huh.
Well, anyways, Tim, talked enough about me.
Yeah.
How do you make Jessica Simpson all about you?
Well, as I have mentioned, I love this woman. She is, honestly, this diva tree that I do at Christmas time, she is like the reason why I do it was because I was like, I loved her memoir so much. Open book, everyone go get it. She is the star at the top, our religious girly.
One of the only books in this country that won't be banned.
Oh, yeah. This book is indestructible.
Totally.
Maybe unlike some luggage. But that makes me think of, I came to this idea when I was living with my roommate Alex at the time. And Alex and I, it was the 2020 COVID Christmas that we came up with the Diva Tree concept. And it was like, okay, well, usually we go home. We can't go home this Christmas. We're going to be bummed. So, like, let's do it up here and make ourselves have a cozy little COVID Christmas.
Totally.
And so we did that. And right around that time, too, it was actually a little bit earlier, but when I think of Alex and living with her, I also think of the famous thing that happened during that 2020 year, which is roommates giving each other haircuts. So,
of course, how could I forget?
How could you forget? Which is in the spring of that year. You know, we were all kind of like, okay, am I really gonna like not
get my hair cut?
Yeah, and am I not gonna let a professional do it?
Sure.
But you're still like, I'm gonna hold out. This thing won't last. You know, COVID will be over soon.
Totally, and I don't know anything about that.
So I was like, this thing won't last. And then, you know, the weeks are going by, and my hair is becoming a full rat's nest. Bush central, disgusting. I turned to Alex, and I'm like, I really need to get my hair cut. And she was like, I'll do it. And I was just like, that's really sweet, but I'm a gay man. So, you know, there's nothing more important on this earth than my hair. So thank you for the offer, but I'm going to wait.
You're not qualified.
Yes. I was like, it's very sweet, but I was like, this is not getting messed up. Not that you would do a bad job necessarily, but I need a professional. Yeah. Otherwise, I will be a nightmare.
I need a super cuts or bust.
No, I wish the money I blow on this bouffant.
Sure.
Anyways, so then like another week goes by, and I'm, of course, complaining still about how ugly my hair is and how desperately I need a haircut. And she's like, I will do it. And I was like, you know what? okay, fine. I was like, but if you're going to do it, we're going to like look at videos. We're going to like, we like ordered like the fancy, whatever the like nicest, still on Amazon.
Yeah.
Like
course.
a haircut kit. That comes, I'm like forcing her to watch maybe 10 videos to do it, like full drill sergeant. Like she fully hates me, but and she's being very nice too.
Yeah, but both of you, in order for you both to survive this experience, you're going to need a haircut and someone's going to need to do it. So she's just trying to survive.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah.
So then we get to we're in the bathroom, we're about to do it, and then I literally have like a full panic, and I was like, no, I can't do it. Like, I don't want my hair. I was like, I know that you're being very sweet right now, but I'm not ready for this. I couldn't be more annoying.
I know a thing or two.
Yeah. And so then a couple more weeks goes by. Third time's a charm. I'm finally like, you know what? I'm ready. We get there. We go into the bathroom to do it. The minute she goes to like take the scissors out, I'm not kidding, like my whole body clenches or whatever. And she's like, it will be fine. She does like one snip or whatever, and I like fully like flinch as if she's like punching me. Like I'm the worst client you could have, you know? Like as if
the
like
Jennifer shows are aware.
And so I was like, and she's like, just relax. Like you're making it worse if you're like fully tense. Every snip, I'm like, ouch.
You're literally like baby getting their first haircut.
100%.
Like you need to be calmed down. You need a lollipop.
Yeah, exactly.
They need to distract you.
Yeah, and I'm like making it so difficult, like moving my head. So of course she's gonna mess up. She doesn't. The haircut actually is great. She should go into it if she wasn't the talented writer that she is. I would say she has another career on her hands. We get through it, and I'm like, wow, okay, like, that actually wasn't that bad. I'm sure she never wants to talk to me again.
Yeah, no, of course.
And so I'm feeling relieved, and then, of course, I'm like, oh, do you want to get your haircut?
Oh, no.
And she's like, you know what, sure. And so then we flip. No conversation has been had because she has like long hair and she was just going to wait it out. And I was like, do you like, you know, I was a nightmare about this. Do you have any things? And she was like, no, she was like, honestly, I'm fine. Like, it's so long that like, as long as you just like, don't cut it above the shoulders, like there's like 6 inches, like just go to town.
Oh no.
And I was like, okay, got it. And I was like, really? You've got nothing? And she was like, no, truly, like, there's so much hair there, like, just a couple inches off and it'll be fine. And I'm like, okay, great. My first cut, I'm not kidding you, I, like, had some weird tremor, and I immediately, the very first snip, above the shoulder, like, basically at her ear.
You're doing the Cher cut, the Gaga cut?
I basically, like, gave her a full bowl cut.
You're so little sister with the scissors doing the bangs.
It was, I can't believe we're still friends. I mean, thankfully I managed to solve her. And then, of course, then she's having to comfort me. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
After so sorry. You have been a monster.
Yeah. I managed to salvage it. We cut it in a great way.
You took out the buzzer and shaved.
Yeah. She gave her a full G.I. Jane.
Absolutely.
Shh, don't tell Will Smith.
Or you gave her the Courtney Cox Scream 3 bangs.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the famous bangs.
All right. Well, with that, should we take a break?
Yeah, I think it's time. We're back, and it is time for Diva Down.
Mm-hmm.
Diva Down, of course, is our famous, less famous than first segment, but our famous third and final segment where we give unsolicited advice to a person, place, or thing, in this case, a concept that really, really needs our help.
And our Diva Down this week is
reheating nachos. Yeah, the concept of reheating nachos. We were sort of prompted by, of course, this phrase is sort of taking the internet by storm.
It's too much.
Totally.
It's everywhere.
I mean, it's like everything is reheating nachos, but it's like we're in 2025. Everything is reheated nachos. We're reheating the reheated nachos.
Okay, and this is what I want to say, and this is my advice to get right into it, which is just like, not everything can be reheated nachos. I'm sorry, but I just feel like I'm like looking on social media and it will be like some Lady Gaga will come out with a new single or a new song, any song, and they're like, this is reheating this, like Madonna's Nachos. Or I'm like, yeah, everything is gonna be a result of something that came before it.
Yeah.
So I just push back on this concept. But the reason why we're specifically talking about it is what we got
inspired by when
by.
Shakira is on a world tour right now, and the images and videos coming out of it are incredibly reminiscent to, if not a shot-for-shot remake of the Renaissance tour, which was just 1 year ago.
Yeah. And Shakira famously did say when she went to the concert that she was going there to take notes and use it for her own concert. I love this. I'd actually like Queen go off. Like the idea of just being like so openly ripping off shot for shot, like not even a subtle nod to, but just actually same moves, same like wardrobe, same like kind of set design.
Sure, yeah, it is serving when you order the Renaissance tour on Temu.
Yes,
but I love it. It's sort of so blatant. Maybe what Shakira is doing, she's reaching out. Maybe she's touring in spots and cities that Beyonce didn't go. So she's offering up the Renaissance tour to other areas of the world which weren't able to experience it live. So in that regard, I think that's a beautiful thing.
And also, I will say, if there is one person, I think Beyonce is the best dancer of all the pop girls.
Sure.
And then I would say the person after her, and sometimes can also match her, is Shakira.
Yeah.
Their song, what's that, like, Beyonce,
Beautiful
Beyonce.
liar.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and it's
we should recreate that.
We should definitely.
When they like switch places and it's so seamless.
Oh my God,
sorry.
I love that. Yeah. So maybe, I don't know if they've talked about this.
Absolutely not.
But also what I love about...
They haven't talked since that video.
I think Shakira is the perfect person to sort of replicate the Renaissance tour too, because they both share the same wavy hair.
And same like hips.
Yeah, and the way that it blows back when a fan is trained on it. I actually think it's hilarious. I think in order to reheat nachos, someone else's nachos, I think it's important that you're sort of able to improve on the recipe a little bit.
Add your own.
Yeah, add your own flair. But that being said, I think everyone copies everything.
Yeah.
It's sort of the famous thing, and there's nothing new anymore. I like when artists reheat their own nachos and sort of go back to a time like Abracadabra is a perfect example of like, it's reminiscent of old Gaga, but at least it feels new and it doesn't feel stale. But I think Gaga earned that. Madonna reheating her Confessions on a Dance or Celebration. Interesting.
Is that the Celebration was the tour?
Celebration was a tour and a greatest hits album. But she went out like when she was, even Confessions was a reheated nacho in its own way, and Confessions 2 is another.
Yeah, it's also like she famously, I love Madonna, was like, remember, didn't she like shade ABBA, and then literally so much of ABBA is on Confessions.
It sort of opens with ABBA. But that being said, my advice is, if you like nachos, go to High Tops in West Hollywood or Los Feliz. I think there's one in San Francisco. That is a great example of delicious nachos. Delicious original, and that's how nachos should be made. So I just want to give a shout out to
High Tops.
High Tops. Because they are serving nachos right. There's a lot of crunch, there's a lot of flavor, and the ratio is always exact. So I think these female artists
need to go to High Tops.
And really understand how the nachos are made. Get down to a cellular level.
There are many things you've said on this pod over this past year, and that is one of the most shocking, which is you are out here promoting nachos at High Tops.
It is one of the greatest dishes in this city.
I'm now coming back here being like, I don't think I've ever shared nachos with you at High Tops, and we've been many a time. So
we'll never forget.
TikTok.
Well, never forget the one time that I went to High Tops Los Feliz when it first opened, and Vat and I ordered the nachos, and we ate about half the plate, and there were all these gays circling this group of gays. And we got up and we left.
Yeah.
And instead, before the nachos were cleared, one of the men that came over to the table and took it after us started eating our leftover nachos. Which, if that's not...
I mean, the concept itself, right there.
He didn't even wait for those nachos to be reheated. And nor did he know who was eating them before or cared.
I mean, that's right there. That's a miss thing.
I hope he's well.
My advice also just for the general concept, I'm kind of like, I know what you're saying where it needs to have its own flavor, but I think these days with, air fryers and new technology available at our fingertips.
Yeah, and countertop ready.
That I do think that you can actually reheat nachos and they can taste just as good. And I think people are just trying to poke holes in different things where I'm like, I think that if you and we are going to Shakira's concert.
We're opening.
Yeah, we're opening.
In Pakistan.
Yeah, in Pakistan. I think we're going to have the time of our lives. And I don't think we're going to care that they're reheated or that it is just the Renaissance tour. I'm kind of like, you know what? Let her live.
Absolutely. I love the Renaissance tour.
Yeah.
I went twice. Catch me at Shakira. Catch me at Shakira.
Catch us at Shakira. If you can't handle me
at my Renaissance. You don't get me at my Shakira's reheated nachos
whatever
tour.
the name of that tour is. Yeah. I think with that.
And with that, follow us on TikTok and Instagram at MissThingThePod. If you like us, leave us a 5-star rating.
Or above.
Yeah, or above. That famous thing that Tim sort of keeps recommending you do. And with that, we love ya.
And Cynthia,
we will be seeing you at the Hollywood Bowl this summer.
And also, you're hosting the Tonys. Cannot wait for that. Girl, you're crushing it.
You're crushing it, as always, girl.
Bye.
Bye. Miss Thing Podcast is created, executive produced, and hosted by Greg Trimmer and Tim Zientek.
It's produced and edited by Benji Simons, with cover art and additional creative support by Claude Zeins.
Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at MissThingThePod.
New episodes drop every Tuesday. Watch on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Please subscribe, rate, and review, but only raves. Strictly 5 stars and above.
Follow Greg at Greg Trimmer and Tim at Tim_Zientek on all social media. Bonk.